Okay, so we are beginning the Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. We had completed till verse 57, so we will be starting a very important verse 58 onwards. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, verse 58. But prior to this, I will give you an understanding of what we did yesterday. We were doing the way in which a person who follows the path of Sankhya Yoga can reach Sri Krishna. And then we did a person who follows the path of Karma Yoga, how he is able to reach Sri Krishna. This is what we had done. Now today, the importance of the verses that are going to be read out is the doership. How important is the doership? And the most critical, the most underline it, the most important word over here is you have to listen and do exactly the way it has been said to you. Alright, so let us begin with the verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 58. With your mind thus devoted to me, you shall by my grace overcome all difficulties. But if from self-conceit you do not care to listen to me, you will be lost. This is a very, very dire warning which Krishna has given for the first time in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Please understand why these words are so important. He says in the beginning, with your mind devoted to me, you shall by my grace overcome all difficulties. If you have surrendered to Krishna and you know that there is nothing in this world which is beyond Krishna's ability, he is the master of everything. So then you have to know that he is the one who runs the whole show behind, the one who pulls the strings, the one who does everything. Now, why this verse is so important? The devotion is the only path where you are not supposed to be bothered about knowledge and various other things, different kinds of yogas that are practiced. There is no need to even know about spiritual. The devotional path is very, very easy. What he says over here is, if you believe in Krishna, that is, if your faith is 100% in Krishna, then why are you anxious? Why are you worried? And why are you having these tensions in your life? You know you have no control over the future. You have absolutely no understanding what is going to happen in the next 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, 2 days, even 10 days or 1 year. Is there anybody on this planet Earth who can say what is going to happen in the coming year? Please understand, nobody has this ability. People can speculate. You can also speculate on what might happen. But the future is in nobody's hands except one, and that is Krishna. So, why are you anxious? Why are you worried? What makes you get so tense, thinking what's going to happen tomorrow? There are people who have no jobs. They are worried. I don't have a job. What am I going to do? There are people who don't have money. They don't have a place to stay. And they are worried. If your faith is 100% in Sri Krishna, then why are you bothered about it? He is the super boss of everything. It is He who runs the future. Please understand this. There is nobody who knows the future except Him. And because He is the only one who knows, then why are you using even your mind, trying to think of situations? There is no need. Put all your faith in Krishna and you will be able to overcome all your difficulties. There isn't a single thing in this world that you will have to face, and get lost over there. No, you will be able to overcome everything in this world. All right? This is the line which you should always remember. When your faith is in Krishna 100%, when you have surrendered your will to Krishna, when you have unconditional love for Him and you are the highest devotee of His, then there is no need to worry, because He is the one who runs your life. The future is in His hands and He will do exactly what is to be done. And He is a great Father. So why are you worried? Don't bother. Just leave everything to Him. Now comes the dire warning. But if from self-conceit you do not care to listen to me, you will be lost. This line tells us that if you do not listen to the words of Shri Krishna, then nobody in this world can save you. Not anybody. You can go to whomsoever you want. You can go to any gods or demigods or anybody on this planet Earth. Nobody will be able to save you. If Krishna is running your life, you have to listen to every word of His. If you do not listen, then something else happens which I will read in the coming verses. But first let us listen to this. If by self-conceit you may think, what does he know? I am the one who is suffering. I am the one who is going through my pain. I know better what I am supposed to do. If I don't have a job, I have to search for a job. I have to, by whatever means, take up a job. Everybody has their self-conceit. They think that they know everything. They know better than Krishna. Well, please understand one thing. Let us say Krishna tells you, now go back. Go to your native place. Go somewhere. And you say, I will do it tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, or after that. Then there is no way in which you can ever achieve any objective in your life. Because a very, very important thing happens over here. Those who do not care to listen, they fall under the trap of karma. A karma which they can never ever overcome. And that is why these words are very, very critical. Please listen. Now, many a times, I have a lot of my disciples who will come to me and who will ask me a question. They will say, Guruji, I want to go to my native place. Do you think I should go? And I say, yes. This weekend you go. Sometimes they never listen. Because according to them, they have got their own plans. And the plans are, this week I have a meeting with so and so, next week I have to do this thing over here, and then the next week I have to do that. And maybe I will get my salary at the month end, and after I get my salary, I will buy certain things, and then I will do this, and then I will do that. They keep on dilly-dallying and pushing the thing forward, 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 forward. Now what happens? They were given very clear instructions. Go right now in this weekend. But they don't want to listen because of self-conceit. And because they have self-conceit, they think they know too much. After that, any action that they do, they may go after 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Then the responsibility is not with Krishna. Please see this line. With your mind devoted to me, you shall by my grace overcome all difficulties. If your mind is devoted to Krishna and you are doing exactly what he told you to do, exactly, word to word, you cannot make any concessions over here, and do it. Then it is Krishna's responsibility to remove all the obstacles from your life. It's not yours anymore. But because of self-conceit, you say, oh, next week or the next week or the week after that, I will go. Then you are going to get into very big trouble. And what is the trouble? The trouble is you will be actually sanctioning yourself multiple lifetimes. This verse, now the coming 4-5 verses are very important for that reason. Listen to them carefully. Now, I hope you understood what I said. I will give you one example. There was a person who came and told me that, Guruji, I want to get married. I said, fine, get married. I want to get married in the coming, this year or maybe next year. I said, no, you can't do that. You have to get married at the end of this year. The person said, okay. They went back, consulted the parents and the general council, because everybody has a general council in their life. They have to talk to everybody, uncle, aunts, mother, father, brother, sister, everybody they want to talk to. And they want to talk to their friends and relatives and everybody. And after taking a general consensus, next year I will get married sometime. Now, since the verdict was very clear, you have to get married by this year end. The person says, no, next year. Then the matter is not in my hands. I can't handle that issue at all. And then the person keeps on dilly-dallying. And then says, oh, my parents have said this and this one has said that. And they have to find a very good date. And after the good date is found, and then they will come and ask me, Guruji, this date is okay. I say, fine. Okay by me, whatever you say. Then they will come and ask me again, do I have your consent? I said, fine, whatever you say. Because according to you, you have already gone and disobeyed me. And after that you are asking my consent. That is not my call. So when you are not even listened to me, then the person thinks next year is good enough because parents are greater than the guru. And this is where the problem lies. Parents and brothers, relatives, sister, this one, that one, everybody is greater than the guru. And then there is a delay, and then there is a delay, and then there is a delay. And then the whole thing goes off for a toss. Then they will come and then they will say, sorry Guruji, I never listened to you. There is no sorry, because that till you listen to me, till the words which are said, do this during this time, it is very much within the hands of the Guru. But if you do not listen, then it is no longer in the hands of the Guru. And that is what we are going to learn today. Because people have their old self-conceit. They think they know too much. So now let us see. So we will do the next verse now. I hope you understood this much. So now let us do the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 59. If taking your stand on egotism, you think, I will not fight. Vain is the resolve of yours. Your nature will drive you to the act. See, you say that I will not do this. Why? Now here is an example of Shri Krishna telling Arjuna. He is told Arjuna, take up your bow and arrow and take up your weapons and fight. No, these are my relatives. What am I going to do? I can't kill them. This war is not good. People die. When people die, I can fall into hell. Blah, 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 blah. Everything. You see, human beings have this nature. They will give a multiple reasons why they will not do it. नहीं क्या हुआ था गुरुजी, वो ये वीकेंड में ना एक बिजनेस की मीटिंग आ गई. Oh, a business meeting came at this weekend. Or somebody will say, but you see, I don't have the consent of my, my parents, and everybody has to be there for the wedding. No, that is why we are just thinking of next year. Or somebody to whom I have said, go apply for this job and you will get it. The person keeps on thinking, oh, how can I apply? How can I do this? I am not qualified. I am not even there. I don't even have any understanding of this subject matter. Blah, blah, blah. They keep on talking like this in their mind, and then they keep on dilly-dallying, just procrastinating so much. But then what happens is this. If you take a stand on your egotism, now ego can be of two kinds. Please remember this. One is that big fat ego that everybody has. I am the greatest. And the other one, that ego is called inflated one. And then they have another ego which is called the deflated ego. I am the worst person on earth. I don't have anything. I am sick. I am tired. Nobody cares for me. I am alone in this world. Nobody is wanting me. What am I going to do? I don't have money. I don't have this. That this is called the deflated ego. Do you know which is the greatest of the ego? The deflated one is greater than the inflated one. At least the inflated one, you can put one pin and break it. But a deflated one, how much air can you put in, sir? These deflated people, the people who are having this deflated ego, they are the worst of the lot because they supposedly at the rock bottom. Actually, they give multiple reasons. You can keep on counting the reasons. Number 1, number 2, number 3. They keep on giving reasons after reasons after reasons for not doing something. And then I was sick, I had so many problems. And in coronavirus, how can I go out? They have time for doing every other thing except doing what they have been told to do. And this is where the ego comes into the play. So he says, if you take your stand on the ego and you think, I will not do this, I will not fight, vain is the resolve of yours. Your resolve will be of no use. You will not be able to do what you think you want to do. Because that nature of yours is going to make you do the same action. You have been told that you got to do this. Many years ago, I told a couple of my devotees, and I told them very nicely. I said, see, I have finished with your training. You have reached a certain stage where you can teach someone. Now, No, Guruji, how can I teach? It is not possible. I don't know. But you have to go and teach. Go teach the person. And when they have to teach, their ego comes in the way. That person doesn't listen to me. Which disciple listens to me? Have you noticed? You yourself are the greatest example where you will never listen to what I say. So you think that teaching someone, that person who is going to listen, they have a big fat ego of theirs, but they will say, I don't have any ego. No, everybody has an ego. Even the person who, Guruji, 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 the person who keeps on doing this kind of a thing, that person has the worst ego of all. And they will keep on doing this. And they will say, nahi, hum karenge, I will do, I will do. When? Which year? Which life of yours? Don't worry. I will make that thing happen. So, Krishna says to Arjuna, driven by your own nature, you will do. That resolve of yours is useless. You can't even say. But now what has happened is your mind has come into play. So, because your mind has come into play, there is no way in which Krishna can take charge. Do you know this? In the previous verses, we were very clear that if your mind is at play, if you are keeping on thinking, and if you keep on postulating what is going to happen, how things are going to happen, what am I going to do, there is no money, there is this, there is all those reasonings that you are given, it's because of your mind. Why are you bothered? But because you are now using your mind, you have opposed everything. But don't worry. Destiny will make you do that. The same thing which you say, I will not do. You don't know destiny. She's going to put a gun against your head. And that destiny, the one who is driving this is called Maya, by the way. We will come to it. Very shortly we will come in verse 61. Just now we are doing only 59. So, your resolve is wrong. Don't say I am not going to do. Your own nature will drive you to that act. You will be literally driven to that point and make, abhi ye kaam karo, do this. And you will end up doing the same thing which you were so far opposing. I can't do this, this is not possible. All those reasoning that you have given, the same thing you will do. Alright, so we will do the next verse to understand how this happens. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 60. That action too, which you are not willing to undertake, due to ignorance, you will perforce perform, bound by your own duty, born of your nature. When you are nicely told to do the job you did not want to do, and you kept on giving reasons after reasons why you cannot do the job. Do you really think Krishna is some ordinary person that you can say, I can't do that for him? Don't do that. Listen to him. Listening is important. So that action which you are not willing to undertake due to ignorance, your own ignorance says, oh, how can I fight this war? This is an impossible war. How can I go for this interview? This interview I will fail. Huh? How can I go to Delhi? I can't, because you see, I have my family over here. I can't do my dancing because you know why? I have to earn money in some other way. I have people who will keep on giving me reasons after reasons. And then I told you, my two great Maharathis, I can't teach anybody because people, they don't want to listen to me. You have been given a task. It's your duty to go and do it. Don't keep on questioning it. Did I not say, with my grace, you will overcome all difficulties? Then why are you saying that there is a problem? Don't worry, no problem. You see, you may think that, oh, he's so far away, how can he manage something over here? Who told you that? Who has said these words? That Krishna is so far away, he can't control things over here. Is there any place on this planet Earth which cannot be under his command? There isn't a single place in this entire universe. The whole thing rearranges for him alone. Whatever he wants to do, he can get it done. So what makes you think that you will have difficulty in your job? That is not your business. Many years ago, one of my disciples, he came to me and he said, Guruji, I don't have a job. Okay, so I don't have a visa. Okay, so did I not tell you that you will have to continue and that you will get a job and that you will have everything? Believe it or not, 60 days were over. Till the 60th day, nothing had happened. When this person was getting ready with his bag packed, his flight was already there and he was about to leave for the airport. The postal service comes with a letter saying that you have been given a permanent resident. What makes you think things cannot happen? Who is this person who can even do anything? You just have to listen and do what is being told to you. Just follow the words. Do this. Don't question. Don't even question, because this is what he says. That action too, which you are not willing to undertake due to ignorance, you will perforce perform. That action also will happen. But once you have used your ego and once you have used your conceit, self-conceit, and said, oh, how is this going to... That is not your problem. It is anyway, you will end up doing the same thing which is being programmed in you. During this time, I normally tell people a story. I have told this before, but I will repeat it for those who need a recap. Now it so happens that Bhishma Pitama is lying on the bed of arrows. Now, when he was lying on the bed of arrows, he wants to know why is he going through this torture in his life. So he says, there is Krishna, I will ask him. So he calls for Krishna and he says to Krishna that, I don't deserve this kind of a death. Krishna says, but you deserve it. He says, how? This is your karma. He says, I know all my lifetimes. How is it that I deserve this kind of a death? He says, you see, remember about it. During this one particular lifetime, were you a king of a particular place? He says, yes. Do you remember going and going for a hunt somewhere? He says, yes. Do you remember crossing a path of a chameleon on the path somewhere? A small creature? He says, yes, I remember. And I stopped my horse and I said that I will save the creature, and I picked it up and I put it at the side. He says, that is the reason why you are suffering today. He says, but I did a very good job, I saved that animal. He says, no. What you did was you lifted that creature and you put him at the side thinking that you saved him. Actually, what you did was you put him on a cactus plant. And that creature died very much in pain. Can you see this pointed arrows? Don't you think they are like the cactus plant and that you deserve this karma? He says, but I was doing good. I tried to save. Krishna looks at him and says, sir, if I have written the death of that creature from your hands, who are you to save him? You are Bhishma Pitama in thinking that you know end of yourself? With your ego and self-conceit, you are talking to me like this? If I have programmed that creature's death at your hands, who are you to save him? He died over there with your hands, isn't it? But actually I had programmed it to die under your horse's feet. But you thought of saving. Now apply this verse over here. The action 2, which you are not willing to undertake due to ignorance, you will perforce perform. That action of killing that animal, Bhishma also had to kill him. The action got performed, but the ego came in the way. I am trying to save the creature. There. You can't save the creature if God wants to kill the creature. Got it? If God wants to do, make you do certain things, it is your duty to do it. But if you say that, no, this is very difficult, I can't do this, tomorrow I will do, day after tomorrow, the procrastination, this, that, many reasons, don't do those kind of reasonings. Please remember one thing, that which comes to you easily, that task which comes to you easily is meant for you. And that task which is the most difficult of all, where you have to go through terrible tensions, problems, this, that may not even be meant for you. But you are getting it at the end of the day. So, that was an easy thing. Go and fight. But Arjuna says, no, I can't fight. Krishna says, you are not listening to me. That action too, which you are not willing to undertake due to ignorance, you will perforce perform. You will be forced to perform, bound by your own duty, born of your nature. Your own duty will make you do that same thing. And your own nature will literally force you to do that action. Now, how does this happen? And who is this person who makes it happen? Let us see in the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 61. Arjuna, God abides in the hearts of all creatures, causing them to revolve according to their karma by his elusive power Maya, as though mounted on a machine. Simple explanation for this. You are a fish in a river. You are swimming along with the tide. You are going down the river. And you say to yourself, I am swimming, I am swimming, I am swimming. You are being driven by your destiny to that place. You don't even understand, but your ego says, I am the one who is swimming. Now let us come to human beings. Human beings have this tendency of saying, मैं कर रहा हूं, I am doing it, I did it, I gave the job, I gave the money, I made this happen. Who is this I? Sir, you are only a pawn in the whole game. You are being played. But you think you are the one who is doing all these things. Do you understand? Because you think you will use your ego, your ahankara, and your self-conceit and say, I did it, Stop this I business. Just do what you're programmed to do. And don't put your objections in the middle. Arjuna, God abides in the hearts of all creatures. The essence of the divine is in everybody. Whether it's a good person in the material world or bad person in the material world, it can be a saint, it can be a sage, it can be the biggest villains, it could be a prime minister of a country, it could be the president of a country, it could be the poorest man on the streets, it could be even a pig or a donkey. What makes you think that divine is not there in that? The divine Lord is the essence of His, is in everybody. And that is what is making the whole thing happen. The God from inside is pushing that person to doing something. Now, how do these things happen? Because of your karma. Now, today, if you are suffering from a certain disease, let us say you are suffering from maybe cancer. Now you will say, I have not done anything to get this cancer. Who told you that? In your past life, you must have done something because of which in this life you have to suffer for that. I am such a poor person. I tried desperately. I made so much of effort, but I am still not becoming Jeff Bezos, Oh, it is your karma. You cannot become him. And it is his karma which makes him become who he is. Everybody's karma is the driving factor. So your prarabdha karma, the one karma which you have come in this world today, package deal, that is what you will end up doing. And who is doing this work behind the scenes, driving you towards your destination? He says, by his elusive power Maya. It is the Maya which makes you do everything. And you think you are the great doer. It is Krishna's Maya, the elusive potent force that is there in this universe, which makes everything go according to its own plan. Not a single person on this planet Earth can say, I can do this, change this. Nobody has the authority or the right to even change anything. Because everything is programmed to the T. And who is the one who is driving this whole thing? The elusive Maya. People come to me and they say, इसने ऐसा किया, this person did like this to me, that person did like this to me, the person is bad and this one is bad. It's not the person who is bad, sir. You are caught in a karmic loop with that person. If your boss is a terrible man, it is because you are in a karmic loop with that person. And you have to go through it. And who is making you go through it? Maya. So also in this case, if you are refusing to do any job, which Krishna has commanded you to do, say, do this thing, and if you refuse it and you say, I will not do, don't worry. You will be driven to do that job by your own nature. And remember, this whole world is literally like a machine, It is clockwork precision, everything is happening. According to the karma, you meet people because there is a karma associated with them. You may not meet someone. You may come across some dangerous people. You may come across some very nice people. All this is because of your karma. And you will end up doing exactly what you are programmed to do. Because this elusive power of Maya is literally making you do the marionette dance. She is making you dance, and you think you are dancing. That is your mistaken way of thinking. I am doing it. Nobody in this world can do what they feel like. No. The atheists and the agnostics, and there are various other people, they think, I am doing. So, who told you that? Now, you may say, bad things happen. Bad things happen, yes. All kinds of bad things happen. World War happens, 9/11 happens, that India, that Mumbai thing happens. So many wars happen. Today, Israel and that Palestinian things is happening. So many issues are there. China, there is something happening. America, there is something happening. You think things are not happening? What makes you think that they are doing it? What makes you think that all these problems that are there, which you think are the problems, are because of some person sitting in some Wuhan who has done this? It is programmed. This universe is programmed to the finest thing. It has to happen. It is anyway going to happen. And the job is done by Maya. Everything moves as though mounted on a machine. The whole thing is literally like mounted on a machine. It happens exactly the way it is planned. So, now Krishna is giving a solution for all those people who have never listened. So, we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 62. Take refuge in Him alone with all your being, Arjuna. By His mere grace, you will attain supreme peace and eternal abode. So, the solution is simple. Shri Krishna says, take refuge in Him. Him is Krishna Himself. So take refuge in me. Surrender to me. The 4 words which I keep on saying constantly. Absolute faith. Total surrender. Complete surrender. Unconditional love and single-pointed devotion. These are the 4 things that are needed in this. So take refuge in Him alone. With all your being, you put your tan, man, dhan, everything that you got at His feet. Sharanangat. Sharan means to go as a refuge. He is a refuge, isn't it? Literally like a chhatra chhaya, like an umbrella. Now it's raining outside. You can hear it. So, you need an umbrella, isn't it? So in the same way, in the material world, you will have problems. You will have to go through various torturous situations in your life. But why are you bothered? Take refuge at Krishna's feet. And with His grace, you will attain supreme peace and eternal abode. It is Krishna's grace alone that will make you go through these situations literally like, a knife through the butter, you say, smoothly. Because He will remove all the obstacles from the middle. What makes you think that it cannot be done? Everything can happen. Surrender at His feet. Take refuge at His feet. And with His mere grace, with Krishna's mere grace, you can attain supreme peace, absolute peace, complete peace you can get in. And you can attain His eternal abode. We were talking about eternal abode yesterday also. This is called the second divine unmanifest. You can attain His second divine unmanifest if you just surrender to Him. Just surrender to him. On the path of surrender, I will tell you a very beautiful story. It so happened that there were people who had come to visit a very great saint. Now, when they came to visit him, they asked him a question. They said, "Can you teach us the path of liberation?" The saint continued to do what he was doing. He was doing some activity at that time and he continued to do that activity. Suddenly he calls his assistant, there are young boys there. So he calls his assistant, says, "Come here, get me a glass of water." So the assistant goes, gets him a glass of water. The people are sitting in front of him and there is one small pot with one glass on top of it and there is water inside. And yet this master is not even taking that water in front of his eyes. But that particular disciple goes and gets a glass of water. So this gentleman who was asking him, "Can you please teach us how liberation happens?" Again, this master says to this disciple, he says, "Come here. Go inside and make gourd shira." Gourd shira, those who are my disciples know that. But put salt in it. If you are making 2 katoris of gourd shira, instead of sugar, you put 1 katori of salt in it and make it as a prasad and bring it here. So he goes inside, puts salt in it, makes that shira, comes out and gives it to the master. The master says, "Now distribute it." Now everybody is eating it. Now you can't do anything about the master. They feel very odd. A sweet suji, instead of that, the person has put salt in it too. Again that person asks. He says, "I wanted to ask you about liberation and you are not even telling me. And what kind of these stupid things that you are telling your disciple? First you told him to get water. The water is right in front of you. You can take it with your own hands. Then you told him to make suji. Instead of putting sugar, you told him to put salt, and that idiot like him put salt in it and brought it." The master looks at that person and says, "You see, I told him to get me a glass of water. Did he question me? Did he say, 'Guruji, there is a glass of water right in front of you, drink that'? No. He did exactly what he was told to do. Did he use his ego? No. Then he went to make that suji. He also knows that you have to put sugar in it. But it is master's instructions to put 1 whole katori of salt in it. And he did exactly what I told him to do. And he did exactly that. Don't you think he is an intelligent person? And has he not made this suji so many times? But this is what you got to do. When you surrender to the master, don't use your mind. If he tells you, "Do this right now," do it. Don't question him. Don't use your mind and say, "I will do it after 5 minutes. No. Then, that time. And if he says, "Go get this from there," even if that item is in front of him, don't question. The path of liberation is surrender. When you take refuge under Krishna, then don't think and bother how things are going to happen. If he says certain things, just do that. In the last 4 verses, we have learned that. Don't use your mind and don't use your conceit and your ego saying, I know better. If the time has been given that this is the time you got to do it, you do it. Then, with his mere grace, you will attain supreme peace and eternal abode. Liberation will come to you. Because you are doing exactly what you have been told to do. So we'll do this next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 63. Thus has this wisdom, the most profound secret of all secret knowledge, has been imparted to you by me. Deeply ponder over it and now do as you like. This wisdom has been given to you. This knowledge has been literally imparted to you. This one satsang of mine, literally गांठ लगा के रखना, we say. गांठ लगा के रखना means you just tie it up in your mind and keep it there and follow exactly what you have been told to do. This is the secret of the secret trainings that has been given. It is the most profound secret of all the secret knowledge. There is no greater secret than this. I have given you multiple secrets in the past, but this is the highest of the secret. This has been imparted to you by me. Now go ponder over it. Now think about it. And then do as you like. Even after knowing, if you think you can do what you feel like, then there is something desperately wrong with you. So the last line is, do what you like. So when somebody comes to me also, if they have not listened, then I tell them, तुमको जो करना है करो. You do what you think is right. And that is never right. Got it? So today's satsang was all about how to do things exactly the way they are planned. If you do not, then there is no one who can take the responsibility. You will get into the loops of karma forever and ever and ever, and it is very difficult to get out of it. You want your liberation, you want to go ahead in your spiritual world, you literally want to become the number one in this world. You want to go to Krishna's abode, the second divine unmanifest, you want to be with him. Just do what he has told you to do. Don't question, don't even use your mind. Don't bother, because he takes charge and removes all your difficulties. And this is the most secret teaching of all times. This chapter is very, very important. This is the last chapter. So again, now you have heard this whole satsang. End of it. जो आपको करना है कीजिए. Do what you want. But you should know, there is a Maya darling somewhere. She is going to literally put a gun against your head and get it done. But then you will be in the trap of karma. Why you want her to act? You do it, no? Nicely. Be gracious and do it. Take Krishna's name, surrender at his feet and do what he tells you to do. Pani leke aao. Get the glass of water. Just get it. Don't keep on questioning. Why should I get it from there? There is a bottle next to you. You can drink from that. Don't say these words. Got it? So I hope you have understood today's satsang. There may be too many of those, blips. But don't worry. Listen to it if you want to listen to it again and again so that this teaching becomes permanent in you. Alright? So take care. See you. Tomorrow we will do 64 verse onwards. Bye.